I have to start the recording. Okay, it's recording. Go ahead.
Okay, we have two sets of minutes to approve. The first one is the July 28th meeting.
Yep.
Did everybody receive these?
I have the October 13th.
Yeah, that's the one I looked over. Yeah.
Okay, we have October 13th, but we also need to approve July 28th.
If people did not get the July 28th one, I sent them later this afternoon. I realized that we needed approval on the 28th as well. We can hold the 28th and just approve the 13th and do the 28th at the next meeting.
All right. Okay, so we'll table the 28th.
Yep.
And okay, so what we're bringing up now is the October 13th meeting.
I wasn't here on the 13th, so.
You weren't here on the 13th?
Weren't you
Okay,
at the last meeting, Ellen? I thought you were. Okay.
I thought she was too.
Thought I was?
I thought you were.
No, I wish I was, but it was my birthday and I missed
right.
it. It was on my calendar, but I never showed up.
That's right. I remember
Okay.
that now. Okay, I'll revise the minutes. I'll revise them.
Revise that. Put Ellen in absent.
Okay.
Any others? Everybody's had a chance to review these? I would accept a motion.
I'll motion to approve.
Good. Okay.
Is there a second? Anyone? Thanks, Jim. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No second yet?
I second.
Jimmy seconded.
All right, discussion? Okay, so the motion is to approve with the correction of moving Ellen Blaylock to absent. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Opposed? Okay. It passed. We have no new applications, so the rest of this meeting can be devoted to discussion. Let's have some subcommittee reports and discussion. Marketing committee? Who wants to report that one?
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
The marketing committee is Lauren as well. So Tina, Lauren, and myself broke off. We've been meeting with Ruth Nee from the city in regards to the logo design and such. And we also talked about the capabilities of the website. And so we have another meeting with her that happens on Friday, I believe, and where we will further discuss. The city has hired someone to do a very comprehensive rehaul of every inch of the city website. And part of that will include us detailing to these people what we want them to do, and then they can build it for us. So it's amazing. and so, Tina and Lauren and I are going to really kind of say, this is the functionality that we need in our site. And then the big thing that they're going to do IT wise is be able to cross connect all of the databases that don't talk to each other right now, which is a huge opportunity. So I think that that's the smart cities thing that we're talking about. And other than that, because we were pursuing trying to see if we could figure out clever ways for, either us privately building out and working with like local marketing folks to build out a website for us. But it turns out there's a unique opportunity. This won't be until the website won't be completed until like spring, like May
Spring.
projection, right? And so there's some stuff in the meantime that we can obviously put our attention towards. And I think one of those things we'll be discussing on Friday, which is how we can kind of in the interim utilize social media and get those things started. And once the logo is whatever the terminology is, given the go ahead, then we can, per the correct design standards that are provided, we can start using it on everything. So I just wanted to let you all know that we're gonna be we're each gonna get a tattoo of it on our foreheads. You can choose the placement, but
Very good.
and then we're the street team, But that's basically what we've been doing with the marketing, and then we have to meet with Ruthnie on Friday afternoon.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you.
I do just can I interject one quick aside, and that is that I have a news story that we can already promote, and that was Carol Adamek revamped her totem in front of the library on South Salina Street. She took it off. The city helped her re-weld pieces. She redid it and reinstalled it on Saturday. My son and I came down to help and maneuver it back on. It's a small piece, but it's really nice to have it back and really rehabilitated and in good shape. So I've got photographs. I've got a little bio and information about the piece, and we can start grabbing pieces of information like that and getting it out there. That's the kind of thing that's happening. So
Kate, did you get any information on the logo? If there are any special city requirements?
that's part of the discussion with
Okay.
Ruthie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wanted to Tina, correct me if I'm wrong, but she wanted to think about it a little bit more. She felt it was maybe 80 or 90% there, but she wanted to.
Yeah, she mentioned sending us design standards from the city because all the new logos that were being designed that needed to have some elements that were cohesive. Although we could deviate and be our own unique thing, she wanted us to see those design standards and to tweak our logo design a little bit. She was supposed to send that to us last week. We never received it. And then we have this meeting scheduled for Friday. So I'm hoping we get further on that and we're not just having another meeting to have another meeting.
Yeah, oh no, it will be to move forward. I'll remind her about the design standards.
Okay,
I'll shoot her an email or a text or something. Yeah.
cool. Thanks.
Anything further on marketing? Great work, guys. This is really
I'm
good
just
news.
curious. Pardon me. I'm curious about something. Is the logo going to be seen by all of the members of the commission before approval? Is it the marketing, or Dan, is it your, will we all be involved in the approval? Am I being clear on my question?
You mean once the city puts their input on it, if anything gets changed on it, will we look at it again?
I don't think Ellen has even Ellen, you haven't even seen it yet, right? Because you weren't here at the last meeting. So
Oh, correct. I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen anything. Okay, so there was a design that was offered to us. And did you guys like it? And you went back and said that we would like this and this and this changed? Is that what happened?
No,
That's correct.
we presented, well, Lauren drafted a logo design and it was presented last meeting with the website layout that we put together. And what we didn't know is how the city would approve it and how that process.
Okay.
So this is where we're at, is getting the city to
Okay.
say, what can it be?
My guess is that there probably will. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead. Whoops.
Oh, sorry. Well, can someone email that to me?
Yes.
I'll do that. My guess is that there will be some changes to it, but I think that Ruthie really liked the simplicity and understood where we were going with it. But it's not quite yet set in stone. So, but Ellen, I will send it to you.
I just want to be on the, in the loop. That's all.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Do you think that any changes they might recommend would be substantial, or are they simply aspect ratio and that type of thing? Or did she not give a clue?
I don't think we know.
Until Friday or whenever we get those standards, but they're not going to affect it to the point where it I think it requires some sort of unification element. So we'll just figure out a way to incorporate that into it and go forward,
Yep. Okay, great. Fundraising committee?
Dan, do you want to say anything about it? Do you want to talk about that since you were? I don't think we selected a chair of the fundraising committee.
No, we didn't. Should.
That you, Dan.
So, well, let's see. The people who met were Tina. I won't be the chair of this, but I can just quickly. Tina and Dan and Emmanuel, and I think my MJ, you were going to be there but weren't able to be, so you're on it as well. And I met a week ago Friday, I think it was, and I think had a really good conversation and sort of set out some basic parameters of what we were all talking about, and both in terms of building an endowment for public art that would be held in a place like the Community Foundation, and from which we could draw on an annual basis some sustainable income that, or for project income. And then also a more nimble, perhaps more project specific type of fundraising tool that we would set up through TNT. And correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone is wants to chime in that was in on the conversation. But the one through TNT would be, this would be how we would be soliciting donations through the website. We would, as I say, just much more nimble and perhaps and project specific. Is that about right? Is that the two?
Well, and also more rapid turnaround.
Yes.
What goes into building an endowment is not going to be generating money that will be used very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tina.
And I think we talked about, working with the city to get an agreement so that TNT can be the fiscal agent.
Yes.
Disperse the funds. And also Emmanuel brought up a really great idea, which was to have us go into our networks and ask folks if they want to donate to the Public Arts Commission, either in a general sense so that we can, do it for marketing or for project specific stuff that we choose, or if they have a specific idea of what they want to donate that money towards. So I know that Kate was going to work on drafting a letter, right, Kate? Right, Kate? Is that right? And then in December, we would review that draft, and figure out, if whose letterhead that is, and how we would channel those funds through TNT, as the fiscal agent. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, I came up with, I had to start here, a number of to-do items that we had outlined. And one was I'm going to get in touch with at least someone who I think might be able to mentor us a little bit on this, and someone I know, Larry, I don't know if you all know Larry Bousquet from Bousquet Holstein. He's really he is a real arts advocate, and also has been involved in a fair amount of fundraising, and it would just be, I think he could really give us some guidance and some advice. So I'm going to get in touch with Larry.
Yep.
And actually, Gary Grossman is another one who works in the same building. Larry and Gary may be able to help us in terms of structuring a fundraising effort. And then, as Tina was saying, that when at the point at which we're ready to go to, and perhaps even before then, commissioners, you all can start thinking about your own networks, who might be interested in contributing or being part of this, and so that we can start pulling together a list of people to send this letter that Tina was talking about, out there to start soliciting funds. We have to both create a community, an agreement between the city and the community foundation for the endowment piece, and we also need some type of letter of agreement between TNT and the city regarding the public art funds. So those are two things that we need to work on too. And then Tina, I had you down for looking into the third-party vendor for PayPal or Venmo or whatever that would go onto our website. And Emmanuel also had a homework assignment, and that was to look into different approaches that other communities are making in terms of their public art and their fundraising appeals, and how they're structuring that. So do I have that about right, everyone?
Okay, you can certainly add me to that committee, just because I'm guessing I'll probably have to be involved at some point. So if you want to just invite me into those meetings, I will. I'm happy to join that. If one makes sense, that's probably the one that makes sense for me.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And so our next meeting is on November 30th at 2 p.m.-ish is what I wrote down.
2 p.m.-ish. It's 2
2
p.m.
p.m.-ish. So I'll make sure, Jimmy, that I include you in on that.
Yeah, and the TNT piece, I kind of have had some conversations around that. It's probably a very simple memo of understanding because it's within the city. So that's probably a 5-minute fix with legal.
Right.
Yep.
It's just making the two ordinances cohesive. So.
Yep. That sounds great. Although
I would guess if we're talking about, depending on what kind of money we're talking about, we also may want to. The way that we segregate that money will depend on how much we're talking about. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe we can talk about that a little bit later too. But having an understanding from home headquarters about the type of money that they may be managing too. I don't know what the shape of your agreement is, TNT's with home headquarters, but that's something.
Yeah, that's an easy sell to them, especially when it comes to beautification and any sort of art project. I think while we're on this topic, though, I think it might be maybe a good idea for us to talk about trying to figure out a way to get a little bit of seed money. I mean, even if it's a few $1,000s to try to figure out, just so we have something in our pockets here to work with. If we are going to do some sort of fundraising effort, which includes, it's not cheap to mail or print, et cetera, and we're in the middle of a financial crisis. So we may want to start to think about some sort of small fundraising effort to get ourselves rolling.
Okay.
And I'm certainly willing to help with that. I don't know what that would look like, but maybe sooner than later.
Okay. Good idea.
I'm guessing that if it used to be that you could knock on the print shop door of City Hall and get something printed, a little bit easier than, there's no money. I don't have to tell anybody that, but
yeah, we don't even have a print shop.
I know.
Like,
No.
I think the school district,
Yeah, that's what I mean by print shop. I don't mean like when Joel used to be in the, but still, even any sort of printing is just very expensive. And
yeah, and especially if we wanted it of the quality that we would want it.
Well, and the community foundation has been extremely generous with TNT when it comes to giving us marketing funds. So I think that I probably could sell easily to them the idea that throw some money at us because we're trying to beautify the neighborhoods via the Public Arts Commission. Can I market TNT and market SPAC at the same time in the same, with the same versus, trying to kill two birds with one stone, for lack of a better term.
And if we're proposing to set up an endowment that they're going to manage, I think probably they'll be willing to come through for that because I think they help pay themselves at least a portion through managing those funds. So
yeah, I mean, generally speaking, as you talk to nonprofits around the city, or as I'm hearing conversations or being part of conversations, a lot of these organizations are either worried about, the pocketbook items, which are, people need food and people need shelter and people need, et cetera, et cetera. People are jobless, but also they're worried about some sort of uplifting projects inside the city. So we don't go down that path of everything is so depressing, because as that happens, people see nothing but dark clouds. It just changes the narrative. And I think we have to work against that narrative, or the times are just going to feel darker than they already are. So that's just my opinion, but it's just worth much.
They'll agree with that. I think they'll be in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Should be an easy sell.
Okay, I think that's all we have.
So I'm curious, why can't the community foundation go to? Why can't on the Public Arts Commission go directly to the community foundation to build its own relationship to maybe get a pocket of money every year? And I know that I think you talked to them before, right, Dan?
Yes.
Like sometime this year or the end of last year, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk with them about that, though. We talked with them about receiving funds that could be used for public art. We didn't have any expenses. It was the city pays for our staff, and everyone else is a volunteer, and we don't have any other expenses, or didn't at the time. So we didn't discuss that.
Yeah, but the reason why we didn't have any expenses is because we weren't doing anything. We weren't really. Although we did not have any expenses, we still needed money, and that has always been the problem. Is that we have always needed money to make things happen. Mm-hmm. And this is the way I was looking at it. So I don't know. I mean,
I think that's an interesting idea, though, to actually see if the community foundation. I mean, it's something that we should explore, whether or not there might be, because we know that the city is not giving the Public Art Commission funding for public art, but to have just a little bit of money to help with marketing or help with the fundraising or help with the and presuming that there may be larger asks
Ellen,
down
And
the
I,
road.
the reason
yeah,
we
and
didn't
I,
discuss that with them at the time was that
That was it.
we did have the resources to cover our expenses at the time, and we
Right.
didn't need that. But we did need the other things we discussed with them.
Yeah.
and where were these resources? Or where was this money then?
Well, our staff salary is paid. Her benefits package. We had printing from the city. We had, what other expenses did we have as a commission? So it didn't come up because we had no expenses, and we really did want the other thing that we were asking for.
And I think if we put pen to paper and actually have something tangible to say that we're looking to do, it makes it much easier to go and ask for money. Just going and saying, "Give me $5,000," they're going to say, "For what?" So I think if we could sit down and get a grocery
Of course
list.
you're going to say what it's for. Of course you're
Yeah.
going to say what it's for. Well, maybe it's because in looking at the Public Arts Commission, maybe it's because I thought that we always had needs. Like I've been on the board for what, like, I don't know, like I wanted, not long that I see, but when I first came on, I saw the needs on how the reason why things don't move forward or the reason why things are slow to move is because we need money. We can't do things unless we have money. Like, how do you let people know about us? How do you get the word out? And how do you pull artists in to do interesting projects in the city, interesting works of art? And I think that kind of stuff takes money. And what if what somebody got a grant, but it wasn't for enough money? It would be nice if we had something that says, yeah, well, we can help you with that, or we can do this. Even looking at the mural project that whatchamacallit was trying to do around the city. One great thing that he lacked was money. Even in working with this young lady, that we all wanted to support her. One great problem that they had was money. So it would have been nice to have supported things like that. So I don't know. Well, I always saw money a really big barrier for getting things done, even on the operational level. So, like, I had a different take on it. So I don't know.
Well,
That's the way I
think, yeah, and our meeting with the community foundation, when Dan and I went, was specifically to talk about that endowment piece and what it would take to set up an endowment. And we didn't go at that point with another idea about, well, actually, how about funding for the Public Art Commission itself? So it was two different. It was.
Or to talk to about would the community foundation be willing to fund, or how would you fund different types of projects? Is that something that artists will come directly to you with for projects, or can we also try to establish some type of funding engine through you guys, where maybe every year we get a pocket of money? And the reason why I'm saying this is that I guess I don't want to be under TNT for everything. Like, I want TNT to be a partner, but I don't want TNT to always be saying, yeah, well, we could do that. Well, we can do that. We can do that. I want the Public Arts Commission to also be able to stand alone on a lot of these things. I'm like, no, well, no slight on you, Jimmy. Please don't understand it that way. I just think that we should be able to separate ourselves and be able to go after our own monies.
Yeah, and I think, understand that as far as TNT is concerned, our capabilities are limited too. But the ability for TNT just to serve as a way for, if a check comes in right now written to the Syracuse Public Arts Commission, it's trash because you can't, there's no such thing as an account, right? So my point with TNT being a fiscal sponsor is it at least allows for a donation to come through the door. But I agree with you. I think it has to be standalone. And I think how we do that is we put the pieces of the puzzle together. Somebody like Larry Bousquet, who has experience in actually getting fundraising off the ground. Like, let's actually figure out a way to kickstart fundraising. And then once that gets going with some seed money, at least we have our feet under us. But no, by no means do I think, listen, TNT just makes it on their own, but at least we would be able to take money in. And at this time, we wouldn't even be able to accept a check. So.
Yeah.
Well, the commission is not even set up, from what I understand, like as a 501c3, correct?
No, and that's my
TNT is correct.
Right, and that was my conversation with Mayor Walsh, was that why reinvent the wheel if TNT is already written into the Public Arts Commission ordinance, so why would we reinvent the wheel? And those are his words, not mine. And I would agree, like we figure out a way to work together, not have two separate entities trying to file paperwork or keep records, because that costs money, and we don't, the Public Arts Commission doesn't have any money just to throw around. So kind of trying to work together is key.
Yep.
But certainly not solving all the problems, because I mean, I don't know that anybody has the answers for any of it, but willing to help for sure.
Maybe I also am feeling like, well, this is just water under the bridge anyway, but I guess I'm also feeling like I know that the city is probably broke or is struggling because of the situation that we're in, but I do believe that when I guess the commission was set up, it seems like, and if this mayor is serious, then he should have found some money in the budget for some, I don't know, but let me get off the subject, okay? Because it's not the subject we should be on now. And I think we need to move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thanks, Ellen. Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. Can we move on to special projects?
We can. It's going to be kind of a short. Well, actually, the first part is very short. And if I may speak also for Ellen and Emmanuel here, because we got together a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and I had all sorts of tasks in terms of looking into I-81 and the idea of making sure, or at what point are we in this project, that how can we insert public art into the grand scheme of things. And so I had made some calls, and it turns out that everything, because of COVID, everything has sort of gone a little bit silent on the project, although I think certain aspects are still progressing. But actually, it's supposed to happen this week, it'll probably happen next week, the mayor's office is going to be forming some internal work groups, some city work groups, to look at, the one that I would be involved in is to do with urban design and aesthetics. And I have a couple ideas in mind, but one is pushing public art as far as we can to the fore. What I had heard from various people is that unless the mayor's office is really pushing for it, the DOT is not going to be listening. So I could call up the project director at NISDOT and talk to him about the importance of public art, but it's really, we need to get the ear and the commitment of the mayor's office. So I think that this will be the route to do that. But we don't have very much more to add to it at this point than that. I mean, we're sort of in a holding pattern until, on I-81 at least, until this working group
Who else
starts.
is on that committee? Who else
On
is
the
on that
working
committee?
on the working group, so they pulled together the planning staff. It's me and Owen Kearney, um, Neil Burke, transportation planner, Heather Lamondola, who's at zoning. Again, this is just sort of land use, actually what is called land use and aesthetics. So I think I may be the one who's holding up the aesthetic end of things. But so we're sort of on hold until I can get a better picture of where this project is. And I'm hoping that will be in the next couple of weeks and before our next meeting. And I'll be able to grab Ellen and Emmanuel again together to talk about that. So
Okay.
I think we had a good meeting when we had one. And I think the first thing, Dan, that we were trying to establish before we start thinking, like pie in the sky or however you say that, is what um, um, are there any monies there? What exactly are they doing or they're planning? And we needed to know some basic things before we can even begin to brainstorm. I talked about what generally what I wanted to engage, and Emmanuel, he also talked about various things also, in which and that was really interesting for me because there's things that he was talking about that I didn't even consider. In terms of looking at that 81 being taken down and just these other considerations, just in terms of even looking at lighting and choicing of signage and things like that, that I did not even consider that. I was thinking in a different kind of way. So I thought the meeting was good because of that. And in talking to Kate, then we, like Kate was saying, that she was going to make calls to the right people. So I think that Kate, from what the last time she sent us an email out was to let us know that something was coming up in terms of a meeting. And I was excited about that because I think that the next time that Kate comes back, then that means that we will have a little bit more information.
that's the purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and yeah. Also, is Tina going to bring up her special project that she wanted to? Are you going to address that, Tina? In terms of what Mouth would like to see, because that could even almost fall under like special project, and also marketing and fundraising.
I'm sorry. What was that?
The Malfitanos, Frank Malfitanos.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Sorry.
email that
Yeah.
Tina.
Yeah.
And she also gave examples of murals in which are in other cities and things
So
of that sort.
Yeah, that all came from Frank, and I thought, he wants to work with us to identify the content. Like, he has an idea of what he wants the content to be. But if like, for example, the one that's supposed to go on that garage at, was it Lemp Park? He wants to celebrate Eli. What was that?
Nope.
No, sorry. I'm trying to think of what garage at Lemp Park. Sorry, I figured.
The Warren Street garage.
South Warren at West Fayette, right across, right kitty corner from Merchants Building, where Syracuse.com is hosted.
Okay. And that is the same building where they were planning on putting the little girl's mural, and they want to put it on that garage.
Yeah.
Like the wall,
You got
ugly wall in the garage.
You got it.
Yeah, but this would be.
And somebody was already thinking about using that for better though, but I like Mouth's idea better.
Yeah, he's got permission from the building owner. He wants to work with us to identify artists, style, and get community input on the design, the end design. And I saw this as a way for us to develop, when we start to commission work, how we approach it and how we work with the community. And so he's willing to do that. He was all for it. He said that he will get the funding. He hasn't gotten it yet, but he will secure the funding for it. And we're just going to start with one. He has 4 proposed, and I suggested, we just focus on one, and then once that one is complete, then we can start to do the other 3. He's not wedded to having all of them in downtown. He is interested in going through the other neighborhoods. He mentioned Eastwood is one because they don't have a whole lot of murals. There's a ton illegally popping up on the west side. So I don't know if maybe we should talk about that at some point. But he's willing to branch out into the other neighborhoods, and he really wants to celebrate people from Syracuse, women, minorities, musicians, athletes, the Gage. He mentioned the Gage House. He's like, we have a ton of great things here that we don't recognize. So really it's flexible, and he's malleable as to the, final solutions.
Yeah. And if there's one thing that Malfantano's good at, it's hounding people into emptying their pockets eventually. So I promise you he'll get that money. It's going to come somehow, but he has a tendency to cause spectacle and then wait to the count of 10 and do something to completely crash and burn himself in public once again. So we also have to be careful with his particular personality, because I worked for him back in the day at the Syracuse New Times on the jazz stuff, and I know exactly the kind of vicious cycle he's been in for the last 20 years.
I'm sorry, Michael John.
Anyways, yeah.
I have to jump off in a minute. I have to go to the East Side TNT meeting. So, I just want to say real quick that we had talked a while back. I think Corky was at that meeting when we talked about creating a successful project, completing a successful project as a commission. And this is what I saw as a potential to do that, because we don't actually have to raise that money. Somebody else is. And then we can take that completed project, and then when we go to apply for funding, we can say, look, this is what we did. These were the steps we took. This is the process. And it was hopefully it's really successful. So I thought of it as a win-win for all parties involved.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and if I can, before you jump off, Tina, I'm just interested to know. So I've been talking to Frank as well. He's talked to Dan about this project as well, and the mayor's office. So it's sort of been doing the rounds. His enthusiasm for this is unabated, so that's good news. But there needs to be a few more people working on it. So who, the special projects, Ellen and Emmanuel, would you be interested? And Tina, who else would be interested in kind of helping spearhead?
I'm more than happy to help, try to reach out with community. That could be, my piece.
We need sort of to organize the whole thing, because you're right. He's more than capable of raising the funds, but I think that we're going to have to work through the process and where people park the funds. I mean, it's all the pieces and parts we're talking about that, just as you said, Tina, might help sort of pull everything together for us. So
yeah, I'm on board. I'll help.
And I can be maybe a part of the committee. I don't want to head it up, but I don't mind being one of the people on the ground working.
Okay.
Is that cool, Tina?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
So I wanted to mention, since it falls in the special project category, per earlier in the conversation, I think you might have touched upon it, Ellen, but basically, I have been in a lot of Zoom meetings with city employees today. I guess it's that day for me to do so. I was able to pass a proposal, whatever you want to call it, and I have a $10,000 geodome HEPA filtered tent that is on loan from a friend whose company custom fabricates these things. It's a beautiful geodesic dome tent that will be parked in Perseverance Park for 1 full month. So basically, next week we come in, we install this thing, get it all up, and then for 30 days leading up to the holidays, we get 30 local businesses or 30 non-for-profits, however it happens, to get it for one day and be able to create experiences. So this is at no cost to any of those small businesses or non-for-profits. So basically, because I'm the one who's in charge of said tent, I also am the one in charge of placing the people on the calendar of that. So it's open to the public for applications. And what it will be is you get to come in for a day, you get to use the tent. It's safe, it's HEPA filtered, it's heated, it's got a sound system and LED lights and all kinds of stuff. But it is a very interesting and unique opportunity to get attention for SPAC, for example. So I know that there's certain things that we're working towards and on, but it's a freebie because we can basically go and turn it into whatever we want for a day. We could make people come in and take a poll and say, what kind of public art do you want to see in Syracuse? We could, you could, for special projects in particular, it's kind of enticing because you could like say, how do you feel about, public art? And we could really have some kind of interesting thoughts from a bunch of folks or however you want to use it, So I'm offering it up for one particular day from November, I don't even know, 18th all the way through for a month. Just pick a day for SPAC and we can kind of figure out how we'll use it to our advantage.
Would it help to pick the date now?
Whatever, yeah. I mean, it depending on the day, the time, or whatever, like it belongs to that particular like entity for the day, so they can do like whatever they want in there. You know what I mean? So, as a thing that brings it to an interesting audience of cross section of downtown, it's right at, a lot of cars drive by, a lot of visual on it. So, maybe it's just an interesting opportunity. If we can get the logo done in time, we can launch it at the tent and show everyone and say that Instagram is available. Now you can check out our first story, which is about, I mean, just kind of thinking, anything we can do to utilize it. And you can pick any date. It's all open. I haven't saved anything yet.
Be a weekend.
Yeah, probably. But it's got to be like, we're consider it a friendly competition. We gotta do something clever with it. You know what I mean? So if it's a Saturday and there's extra brunch traffic going by and people coming down and shoppers across the street, etc., how do we get them to like stop, drop, and come over? Right? Are we?
What shoppers across the street?
Come on now!
Flowers.
I own a shop directly across the street from it, which is why I'm able to put it at Perseverance Park because it's under my insurance. On the corner of Fayette and Salina in the McCarthy building.
Where Dunkin' Donuts used to be.
The artisan shop there. But yeah, so like, just interesting. There's some foot traffic on the weekends in and around there. There's a lot of folks that go to Original Grain. There's a lot of cross foot traffic. So how do we take advantage,
What do you think about this? It might be a trite idea, but have a projector that might project things in which has already been done, like a constant cycle.
Oh, this is all the art that's in the catalog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't know that all this public art existed type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
A friendly reminder that there's a ton of it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, in just in terms of having, well, since we are Arts Commission, the time that you
Yeah.
go inside, you need something to look at, something that is totally engaging. Like you need
Yeah.
something huge and big, and public art a lot of times is huge and big. So I don't know if somebody has a projector that we can project something like huge and big. And if you say that this thing is a dome shape,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know if it could be a couple of projections and even on the ceiling, but like in which it's just constantly showing. I'm like I can't think of anything more except for even having like scrap paper where people can write down things that they're thinking about, and if they want to be a part of judging like artwork that we might choose for the next mural, things of that sort. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, leveraging the
And
interaction, though. You're right. Yeah.
because we just can't be like hanging out in the dome saying, "Oh, hi."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, a standalone thing could work. Yeah, exactly.
And it
And
will have to be manned too, or personed for
there you
however
go.
many hours, right? I mean, is it someone you take
Yeah,
it for a 24-hour period, or you take it for 10-hour period,
like I mean, I guess it's dependent on when it happens, but it's for the day. So you get it for like one full daylight day. And so,
say like from 9 to 6,
you know what I'm saying?
or
But like, yeah,
set up to like
I gotta,
midnight.
yeah, I gotta figure that kind of stuff out. I guess it's
And
dependent
and
on
then
the,
right now everything is in code. Everything right now is in code yellow, which is
yeah,
basically saying that it can't be a larger gathering than I think like
25.
25 people. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
how large the dome is.
Yeah, it's a 12-foot radius dome, so it's more of a step up to it, check it out, and step away. It's more of it's HEPA filtered. It has a special unit that's actually cleaning the air. So it's more of like a small, short experience. So this, like the idea of coming in, sitting down, looking up, and watching a short video on public art is completely doable. It's something that we have to get the imagery together. So, and it's easy as like putting it on, we have electricity to run out there. So we could probably figure that kind of stuff out. The guy who the tent belongs to has all that tech. So we just have to figure that out. See, I'll talk. Yeah, I'll talk to him. Yeah, I mean, the thing
All we
is,
have to do is just show up with the
so that's the
like
idea. I mean, we got to like figure that out. Yeah, exactly. Right. Test it out.
Maybe we could
like,
get the
or go drop them something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
maybe we could get the downtown committee to donate a case of those walking tour guides to public art. We could give that for free as a takeaway.
Oh, there's like a little booklet. There's like a booklet that was created that has like a walkability in immediate downtown guide that shows many of the. It was made like a couple years ago, maybe.
Yeah. It's the public art guide, and we might be able to get a case of those, and hand them out.
Yeah,
okay. Now I get it.
if folks are interested, but
yeah.
but like something to keep it simple, but follow spec, and learn more about ways in which you could be involved. Good day. Like keep it simple,
So what are the dates that you're going to have this from? Like November what to
they accepted the proposal today, and so basically over next week we'll be figuring out how to build the deck that it's going to be tacked into, because it can't be tacked into the new design concrete in the ground at Perseverance Park. So we will create this deck, tack this thing onto it, and once it's up and running, then like the next day it starts. So I'm hoping over the next week, which will be basically December 18th or November 18th to December 18th type of thing. So from now through Thanksgiving into the holiday season of downtown, the weekend before Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would like it to be a Saturday for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, I like that idea.
And the proposal's accepted, and the city's going to work with us on it. So like we're going to do it. We're going to install it, and then it's up to me to work with everyone because Helen Hudson and I decided it's gotta be available, like really actually available to everyone, even people who have small businesses that aren't necessarily downtown, who can come down for a day and really kind of do something cool. So my hope is there's a lot of like interesting stuff flowing through, and it's not just whatever. Like I want to see a hat and glove donation day and give away hot cocoa day and that kind of stuff. In addition to like that kind of stuff. So that's the idea. So.
Mike, and I was just thinking that there is, maybe we think about this in a different light and try to do something that is that touches on the arts, but also gives back to the community somehow, like maybe art supplies for kids giveaway from the Public Arts Commission, which if we were able to do that, before Christmas, I mean, these nonprofits are going to struggle this year because the toy drives that they could have, I know because I usually run one and I can't have it. I can't have those 100 people in a room dropping stuff off. So maybe we figure out a way to come up with money I know coloring books and crayons sound stupid, but there's a whole bunch of kids that don't have them. So finger paints or whatever that may be, maybe we come up with a way to tie that in.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. How do we do it beforehand? How do we get the materials beforehand? Just trying to get some money going, get the materials, and then our day is there's the announcement we're handing out.
I mean, I don't think we'd be looking at, it depends on what kind of money we're looking at, but I would guess if we put our heads together, we can probably find some money to do something on that scale. If you're talking, how many hours a day would it be open?
I mean, it's yours for the day.
Yeah,
So
day.
You can depend. You could say the giveaway is from noon to 3 and like, you know what I mean? Like, so the tent will basically kind of like default back to wildflowers whenever it's not being utilized. So for me, it's very easy because what I do is I go, ooh, now it's a candle tent pop-up shop or whatever, right? Just to like make it interesting. I'm like, oh, now my friend is a live DJ sitting in there by himself playing music or whatever. Like I have to do something to keep it interesting. So you don't have to worry about like restrictions on time. You decide what you do with your day type of thing. So we can just go, yeah, guess what? Come down and have lunch or whatever, and then come on over to the tent because we're giving away stuff for the kids. And maybe it's dinosaurs and video games and like the exhibits at the Most Museum. Who knows, right? It's just got to be something that we can do. But yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad that we don't have a Syracuse coloring book for kids. In which it would be hard to put together. In which it would be like, like you would, of course, you would do like the dragon. You can color the dragon, and and the you can color in the Libby Cotton thing, or I mean, like various things that are landmarks in Syracuse to color in.
That'd be kind of cool.
Fun. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But
maybe just we can just create one black and white like copies that we give away at Vault the Creek Dragon that the kids can go with and say, here's your first here's your first, coloring of public art, and then go around and find some more. Like that's it, Ellen. That's the idea right there. So, and then it's goodwill. It's and Jimmy's got it right. It is community engaging and beneficial. So that's I think that's great. And yeah, let's see if we can figure it out. Let's see if we can
I'm certainly
up the
willing
thing.
to try to find you some money. This is the time of year when people always think that Christmas time people aren't as generous because they're spending money on their own Christmases, but it's absolutely not the truth. Fundraising letters in the months of November and December are the most successful, and that's nationwide. So now, I mean,
So can we do something like create something like because I'll tell you right now that if I put a box that says Syracuse Public Arts is looking for arts, and I go like this and type to all the 35 artisans of the shop and say, go forth and tell all your friends to bring some stuff to Wildflowers, I probably could collect an unreasonable amount of art supplies over a 2-week period leading up to when SPAC gives it away at the tent. With little to no, like whatever, like the art, give away the stuff, You're talking about going out and buying new supplies, but you like anyone could buy the supplies and bring them in or whatever, right? And a safe way of delivering them, because otherwise unless you mean just going out and just getting some money and then going out and buying it and doing it all ourselves.
I think that's
Yeah.
what we were talking
Oh,
about.
okay, right.
Yeah.
like a uniformed way of just giving the same thing to everybody who comes by. But there is the opportunity if we could find a little pot of money, which I think we could do, and the logo is up and running in time quickly enough. I mean, you can pretty quickly get like bags made for 25 cents a piece that would have the logo on the front of it. You stuff it with whatever that is, watercolors, a coloring book, and a pad, and that's what you give away. And suddenly the logo is out there in a very gifting sort of way.
Yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it.
Yep.
Like that.
So I guess, I'm happy to call around and I'm happy to help come up with some money. I will give some myself and I will start that pot rolling if we want to do that.
And
And
if
the downtown community, I'm guessing,
I would suggest logistically putting art that Saturday then a little bit further into the month, so that we have time to get everything cleared and printed and all the rest. So.
Okay.
So do you think December instead of November then?
Yes.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also think about this. Syracuse does a Christmas tree lighting thing. It would be even interesting if it's done on that. I think that's a Thursday, right? When they do the tree lighting, in which there's trillions of people that will show up downtown.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine there not being a Christmas tree lighting thing in which you're asking people to social distance. Like what is that going to look like this year? Like, do you know?
Yeah, they already. They already did it. It's virtual. It's not going to be in person. Yeah, they're going to like do some sort of digital countdown or something. So they're not inviting people to come down on that day, which is normally Black Friday. And so basically they're saying no dice, and they're also still trying to figure out if they're going to do skating. I mean, they're going to do skating, but they're like, they're not sure exactly when they're going to open it because they can't. Normally, the second the tree lights, you can skate in Clinton Square.
Yes.
And so they're going to like ixnay that and like open quietly on like Monday or something and only have X number of people who can skate, I guess, or something. Yeah.
So ideally, the best day to have it is that Saturday after Black Friday, because that is
Small Business Saturday downtown. Yeah.
Encouraging people to shop locally and at artisan shops and things like that. Ideally.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think that would not give us enough time
I don't think that's
to
enough
plan or to buy coloring books or even to figure out how to apply a logo to some type of carry small bag or something like that. I'm not sure if that would give us enough time because we're talking about like 2 weeks here.
2 weeks, right, right.
The initial push for it too will establish it pretty quickly because like the city, I mean it's going to get media attention, which will be nice. So later on to bring
get
up
less
something.
attention.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the initial stage, that's just how it goes, like right. And so, but if we're giving it out to kids, we just got to be smart and hit it to the schools and say, here you go. You know, it's school teachers. That's how you get the right people to come down for it, right?
So, Kate, Tina left, and she would be the person to answer this question, but I believe that we at TNT still have about $15,000 in a marketing grant from the Community Foundation that I'm guessing if I call them, they probably would let me tap into it to buy some sort of bags. If that logo is good to go for that type of purpose, and I was able to couple maybe a few different public arts commission, the city of Syracuse, TNT, whatever, probably could have bags made, and maybe they would let us even buy some of those supplies. I could call tomorrow and find out.
Okay. Oh,
Just thought of that.
that's great, Jeannie.
Nice.
I just remembered that money is there. So I don't know what the parameters are, but they've been pretty loose with us since COVID. So I will ask.
Okay.
Great.
Excellent.
I say I'll ask. I mean, I'll have Tina ask, but I'll at least spark it.
Okay, great.
So you're
It's-
definitely saying, Michael, that really the best time to do it is really that Saturday, right after what would have been Black Friday.
What they call it, Small Business Saturday, and it just brings the right people down.
Ideally, that's the best
yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's the kind of people that would stop, drop, and check it out. And that would at least give us that opportunity to say, here you go, you know?
Well, maybe what we can do is just find out if we can find the money to do it, then I think that it might be, oh, we also have to get approval of the actual logo, but if we can have the decisions made by next week, then maybe we do have time. I don't know, but
The
I guess
date
we'll just
is
have
the
to wait till
28th.
Friday to find out what the deal is with the logo.
Well, Kate, and even if the logo can't be approved, I suppose we could probably just use some sort of block print that says Syracuse Public Arts Commission as a temporary fix.
Absolutely.
And I'll find out. I will have an answer tomorrow if it's acceptable to use those funds for that. So we could. The 28th is probably doable if we can get it rolling.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Excellent.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
no.
Michael, John.
Yeah.
So I'll maybe offline. We can try to tap into some sort of supplier where we would be able to buy things from at a low cost.
Yeah. The art store follows us pretty closely, and they seem like the best local version that we could just talk to and say, like, what do we got? What are we working with? You know, could we make something happen here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Dan, again,
What's that?
You definitely are trying to buy local, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's the idea because like then the art store wins, everyone wins. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a good precedent to set for us. You know.
Okay.
And if we go down the road of having a bag that is going to go, I think, Dan, that's an opportunity. If you can find out from the downtown committee if they'll give us a case of those public art pamphlets, it doesn't hurt to throw that in there too, because those go to the house with the kids. There's just another opportunity. So
Tomorrow. Call them tomorrow and see if we can get those.
possibility does exist. The community foundation. So some of that money was surrounding grants that we had for like lead awareness and census awareness. The census is gone, but they may say to me, sure, put a lead paint brochure in the bag and that meets your grant opportunities, which I'm always willing to do because it gets that into the houses too. So I'll figure that piece out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move on this. Next thing is open commission seats.
Yeah, just quickly, we actually got now, as of this week, we have, I know that we have 2 seats available with the possibility of a third that is open. Takara Smith, who is Takara, who is TNT, she's moving back to Georgia, so she's no longer going to be on the commission.
She's moving back
And
to
then,
Georgia.
sorry? She
She's
moved back
moving
to
back
Georgia. She's moving back to Georgia. She is, yep. So that's the TNT, one of the TNT seats. And then also the arts administrator position is open. And we need to think about of the various arts organizations that are around town, if you have a favorite or someone that you think would be really great to have on the commission. The TNT position does not need to be an artist, but should be, obviously needs to be someone who lives in the city. Actually, all of the positions, everyone has to live in the city.
Yes.
But and then also I think that I've tried to get an answer out of her. I haven't heard yet, but Nadia, or is it Nadia? Nakorda, she came to a few meetings and has since slipped off the radar. So I've asked her if she's I believe she is a graduate student, so her life may be taking different turns at the moment.
Yeah, I think she's moving back home also.
She's moving back home also. So we have, she
Yeah.
filled an artist
She was
slot.
an SU grad student. Yeah, yeah.
So we have an artist slot, a TNT slot, and the arts administrator slot. And so if you have ideas of names, could you shoot them to me? And also if you can, if you know, you send me a name, but also why you think that they would be good, who they're affiliated with, or how you know them, or you know what you think how you think they might add to the commission. I will be taking these openings over to the mayor's office too, and I would love to be able to give him an idea of some names.
So you don't want to run these other names against, I mean, like to Dan and some of the other, people who we might have in mind,
I'm sorry, say that again?
You do not want to make some of the other names, okay, the time you get your list, you do not want to present it to the commission before you present it to the mayor?
I'd be happy to compile the list of names, and I can send them.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is I'm thinking about 2 people, but then again, somebody might say, like, I don't know. I mean, like, for example, like Mike shared the information about Mouth, and I might say, oh, he would be good on the commission, and Mouth might say, hell to the no, whatever.
Yeah.
Just an example.
Absolutely, no, I would appreciate that. So I would be happy to share the names with everyone and get and then if you want to, I would say not in writing,
And it's not
but
that
give
I'm
me a call.
opposition. No, it's not even that I'm really am into saying no, though, but somebody might rise to the top that everybody might say, hey, I didn't think about that person. Yeah. Well, yeah, so let's give them an invitation first and see if they're willing to do it. I think I'm asking more for that reason, because I have 2 people in mind, one for each position. But if I hear some of the other people's ideas, and then it might be like, yeah, let's offer them first to see. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why I'm really asking.
These are the mayor appointed positions, Kate, is my question.
Yes, they're mayor appointed, so the mayor will decide. And I think you sort of have to, and he also has ideas. So I wouldn't want to promise a position to anybody, raise
I understand now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. but if there is a list of names that we can at least have vetted to a point and have would be able to indicate to the mayor that these are all people who are willing to sit on the commission if a position opens up, then
Oh, okay.
he can say, I would like, I'm interested in this person and this person and this person, and then at least then we start also getting a list of potential commission members that we
So
can
you're
just
telling me that I should approach. So you're telling me I should approach my people to let them know that, hey, yeah, I'm thinking about maybe submitting your name to see their feel on it before I submit it.
Yeah.
Correct?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's probably, yeah, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
Because I wasn't going to do that. Yeah, but I will. Really, I mean, they're just people I like, and
Yeah. It also, how does it work? How does it work with like term? Like you're appointed by mayor. How long are you supposed to be a commissioner for?
Well, it depends. These two or three positions, actually, you would finish out the unfinished term. Then
What's the term?
4 years.
4 years. And what's a term for the chair?
Term for the chair is, I'm gonna have to go back and look. Yeah, I'll have to look. I think, it's actually, it's not off the top of my head. I want to say it's at least a term, but I can't remember if it's consecutive or how many. Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to bear that in mind when asking the question because you're asking them to fill the seat for X number. That's all.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's 4 year term.
It's a 4-year term. Yes.
Jesus,
Well,
I had no idea what I signed up for.
Haha.
yeah, but hey, but people come and go.
they do. I mean, and people do need when your situation changes, people come and they go, and then you fill out an unfinished term, and then if you decide you want to re-up, usually you can do that, and we carry on from there. So.
I guess in addition to giving him a list of people, actual bodies that we think might work, because he's going to be thinking independently of his own people, it might help to actually tell him what skill sets we think we're missing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, we all probably have different opinions on that if we can come to some sort of consensus, but if we're looking to raise funds, then, I mean, he needs probably us saying, listen, a fundraising person would be a good idea. Or if we're looking to shoot videos, then a video, someone who's a professional video, I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but.
Yeah, there's,
You got it, Jimmy. You got it, man.
Yeah. And, it's just the ordinance sets it out that there are non-artist positions and then there are artist positions too. So, if we needed a videographer, that would be, a way to fill an artist position too. So,
Cool.
So anyways, think about that and submit some names and some ideas, and also think about skill sets that would be useful. I'll think about that too. And I think that's all I have. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So.
All right. I think that's it.
I just want to hear Emmanuel's voice just to make sure.
Oops, no, we can't hear him.
I haven't heard him. It could be a video loop. Just wanted to check in on him. All right. All right. And I did remember something real quick back in fundraising, like to have that letter, to be able to put it in front of like your network of folks, like having like that good, like I don't know, like when you do a Kickstarter or crowdfund and you got to put the letter in front of them and say, please donate to SPAC. You know what I mean? Like having that letter being like the elevator pitch that you give to folks to, like, just thinking like this is the elevator pitch for when trying to reach out to your personal networks, the right kinds of folks. That's all.
Yep. Yep. That's part of the task. That's one of the
Okay.
tasks. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All righty.
All right.
Thanks all.
Dan, are we ready to adjourn?
As soon as somebody moves for adjournment.
I'll move.
Thank you, Jimmy. Is there a second?
I shall second. See you at the dome.
All right. See you at the dome.
The other dome. The other dome.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Thanks.
Good night. Thanks, guys.
Be safe.
Peace out.